You won't believe what happened inside a simple elevator ride, something that started like any other, but quickly spiraled into a moment no one saw coming. A VIP girl, confident and poised, suddenly finds herself undressed in front of strangers. But the real shock isn't just what's happening to her. It's how the eyes watching her react, filled with judgment and prejudice, completely underestimate the unexpected payback that's about to unfold. Right now, you're probably wondering, why would someone be undressed in an elevator? What kind of payback could possibly follow in such a tense situation? Stick with me, because in this video, you're going to uncover the full story behind this intense confrontation, the raw emotions involved, and the surprising twist that flips everything upside down. This isn't just about what's on the surface. This is about pride, assumptions, and the way people treat each other when they think no one's watching. I'm going to introduce you to the key players in this drama, show you the subtle glances, the silent judgments, and then the moment that changes everything. You'll feel the tension build as the atmosphere turns from awkward to electrifying, and the conflict that seemed one-sided starts to unravel in a way you won't expect. So if you're ready to see how a simple elevator ride turns into a powerful lesson on respect, payback, and the truth behind those racist eyes, stay tuned, because the answers you came for are coming. Right here, right now. But be warned, once you see what happens next, you'll never look at moments like this the same way again. The question is, are you ready for the real story? Because the payoff is about to drop, and it's nothing like you've imagined. The elevator doors slid shut with a soft hiss, sealing the small space and its occupants away from the bustling world outside. Inside, the air was thick, not just with the usual close quarters, but with something heavier. A charged silence that carried unspoken judgments and simmering tensions. The VIP girl, dressed impeccably just moments ago, stood with a confident posture that seemed to dare anyone to challenge her presence. Yet, beneath that calm exterior, something was shifting, something neither she nor the others could fully anticipate. The people in the elevator, all strangers at first glance, locked eyes with her. Not the curious, friendly gaze you might expect, but with cold, calculating looks that echoed deeper issues of bias and prejudice. It was clear. These weren't just glances. These were the kind of racist eyes that silently labeled, judged, and dismissed. But the story behind this moment was far from simple. You need to know how a woman known for her grace and influence could find herself vulnerable in such a confined space, and why the very judgments cast upon her would ignite a fire of payback that would turn the whole encounter upside down. This VIP girl wasn't just a face in a crowd. She had built her reputation with grit and intelligence, navigating a world where appearances often masked the true battles beneath. In her career, she had faced both admiration and skepticism, sometimes celebrated, sometimes sidelined, but never ignored. The elevator was supposed to be just a quick ride to a high-profile event, a brief pause before stepping back into the spotlight. But as the ride began, subtle signs of tension started to emerge. One passenger shifted uncomfortably, eyes darting away then back, scanning her outfit, her mannerisms, the way she held herself. Another whispered under their breath, the words inaudible but their intent clear, skepticism wrapped in whispered assumptions. It was a microcosm of a bigger world problem, snap judgments based on race, class, and appearance, all playing out in a glass box moving between floors. But what none of them realized was how underestimating her in that moment would be their biggest mistake. The tension in the elevator grew with every passing second, thickening the air until it felt like a pressure cooker about to burst. And then, without warning, the situation took a turn no one saw coming. What started as a moment of vulnerability, when her jacket slipped from her shoulders revealing the dress beneath, transformed into a moment of strength that would challenge every prejudgment those racist eyes had made. Payback wasn't just about revenge. It was about truth, about showing the world the resilience hidden beneath the surface, about confronting the silent biases that too often go unspoken. But what exactly happened in those few intense moments? What led to this extraordinary payback that left everyone stunned? That's what you're going to discover with me. Behind the scenes of this elevator ride, were stories layered with complexity. The other passengers were not just random faces. Each carried their own background, their own reasons for being there, their own silent battles and hidden fears. There was the businessman, anxious about a looming deal, distracted and unaware of how his prejudices shaped his glance. A young woman, ambitious but struggling with her own insecurities, caught between admiration and jealousy. And then there was the quiet observer, a figure whose intentions seemed unclear, but whose presence added an extra layer of mystery to the confined space. Each of these characters, unknowingly or not, played a part in the unfolding drama, their lives intersecting in that brief ride like threads woven into a complex tapestry of tension and emotion. And just beyond the elevator doors, the world was buzzing with its own stories. Social media chatter, viral hashtags, debates about race and power, conversations about respect and equality. This moment, small and intimate, echoed larger cultural conversations trending across the country. It was a snapshot of how personal encounters reflect society's deepest divides and hopes. As you watch this unfold, think about the power of perception, how assumptions shape actions, and how moments like these challenge us to rethink what we believe we know. The tension here is more than just between people. It's a reflection of the ongoing fight for dignity and respect in a world too often divided by misunderstanding. So stay with me, because the story is far from over. We're about to peel back the layers, hear from different voices, dive into motivations, and reveal truths that will keep you questioning and captivated. The answers you seek, why this girl was undressed in the elevator, what payback she had in store, and how those racist eyes finally saw her differently, are coming. But be prepared. This story doesn't end with easy solutions or simple justice. It's messy, real, and powerful, and it's only just beginning. The next chapters will pull you deeper into the lives and secrets of those involved, revealing surprises and twists that will keep you hooked until the very last moment. Are you ready? Because what happens next will change everything you thought you knew about appearances, judgment, and the unexpected strength we all carry inside. As the elevator continued its slow ascent, the confined space became more than just a metal box carrying strangers. It transformed into a pressure chamber, where every glance, every breath, and every movement seemed magnified under the weight of silent judgment. The VIP girl's heart raced, but not from fear alone. There was a fierce determination simmering beneath her calm exterior, fueled by years of battling unseen walls built by prejudice and misunderstanding. She noticed how the businessman shifted uneasily, his eyes flickering with discomfort, as if realizing too late the assumptions he'd made. The young woman, sitting quietly in the corner, seemed torn between curiosity and envy, watching every detail with a mix of admiration and insecurity. And then there was the quiet observer, an enigmatic figure whose presence had gone almost unnoticed until now, whose calm gaze seemed to pierce through the tension like a sharp blade. The twist no one expected was about to come from the very person least suspected, turning the entire scenario upside down and forcing every passenger to confront their own biases and fears. Just as the girl's jacket slipped further, exposing the vulnerability that had initially sparked judgment, the quiet observer moved with unexpected purpose. Instead of joining the chorus of silent whispers or exchanging wary glances, they stepped forward, their voice steady but low, cutting through the thick silence with a challenge no one in that elevator was prepared for. "You think you know her story," they said, "but none of you have even scratched the surface." The businessman blinked, caught off guard, and the young woman stiffened as the elevator's atmosphere shifted suddenly from discomfort to confrontation. The VIP girl's eyes met the observer's, a flicker of recognition and relief passing between them, signaling a secret bond forged long before this moment. This was no random stranger. It was someone who had witnessed the struggles behind her poised facade and knew the fight she'd endured to stand tall, despite the world's harsh gaze. The story behind the undressing was not a scandal or accident. It was a deliberate act, part of a plan that had been years in the making, designed to expose the harsh realities hidden beneath polite society's surface. The elevator was chosen intentionally, the racist eyes baited unknowingly into revealing their true colors, unaware that every look, every sneer, and every whispered doubt was being recorded, not just by the building's hidden cameras, but by an underground movement determined to shine a light on injustice wherever it hid. The quiet observer was the architect of this plan, a whistleblower whose aim was not revenge, but awakening. As the elevator's floor numbers ticked upward, the stakes grew higher. The passengers, once mere bystanders, were now unwilling actors in a drama that threatened to unravel reputations, expose systemic bias, and spark a conversation no one could ignore. The young woman, suddenly realizing the gravity of the moment, found herself questioning her own assumptions and the way she had silently judged without understanding. The businessman, once confident in his status, felt the weight of embarrassment and reflection settling over him. The tension reached a fever pitch when the elevator jolted abruptly, the lights flickering and the space plunging into near darkness. A collective gasp filled the confined air, fear mingling with adrenaline. But it was in that sudden blackout that the true payback unfolded, not through violence or anger, but through the power of truth laid bare. The VIP girl's voice, steady and commanding, broke through the darkness, telling a story that cut deeper than any insult or sneer could. She spoke of the countless times she had been dismissed, misunderstood, and reduced to a stereotype, of the hidden battles behind her public image, and of the strength it took to reclaim her dignity. As her words echoed in the small space, the racist eyes no longer seemed so certain, their gaze faltering as doubt replaced disdain. The young woman, now fully engaged, whispered questions, seeking understanding where before there was judgment. The businessman looked down, silent but changed, and the observer, standing quietly by her side, watched as their carefully laid plan began to take effect. Outside, social media was already buzzing with fragments of the incident, viral hashtags, trending with calls for justice and discussions about racism, empowerment, and the complexity of human interactions in everyday spaces. The story was spreading like wildfire, capturing the attention of thousands who resonated with the powerful themes of respect, resilience, and the fight against prejudice. Yet, even as the elevator's doors finally opened to the world beyond, the conflict inside was far from resolved. The twist was just the beginning, a spark igniting a larger battle between perception and reality, between the visible and invisible struggles faced by many. The lives of these passengers, now intertwined, would continue to unfold in ways none of them expected, revealing secrets, forging alliances, and forcing a reckoning with the truths we all try to hide. As you watch and listen, remember this isn't just a story about one elevator ride or one VIP girl. It's about all of us, about the moments when we're forced to see beyond the surface, challenge our assumptions, and face the hard questions about who we really are and what we stand for. The payoff is powerful, yes, but it's also a call to action. To look at each other with empathy, to confront injustice wherever it hides, and to never underestimate the strength that comes from standing up for yourself and others. The next part of this story will take you even deeper into the lives behind the headlines, the unexpected consequences, and the continuing fight for dignity in a world too quick to judge. Stay close because the climax is coming, and it's going to be unforgettable. The elevator doors slid open with a quiet hiss, releasing a breath of fresh air that seemed to carry the weight of everything that had happened inside into the buzzing world beyond. But for those still inside, time felt suspended, as if the moment had stretched beyond its physical limits, and something deeper had shifted within each person. The VIP girl, no longer just a symbol but a real person with a story raw and unfiltered, stepped out first, her eyes scanning the faces waiting beyond, friends, strangers, and the invisible audience of millions who had already witnessed the viral footage replaying on every screen across the country. What began as a private moment, vulnerable and exposing, had transformed into a public reckoning, a spotlight that was impossible to ignore. The businessman hesitated, his confident mask cracked, replaced by a tentative understanding that maybe, His assumptions had been wrong all along. The young woman who had watched with envy now approached the VIP girl, no longer with suspicion, but with something resembling respect, and an unspoken apology for the snap judgments made in silence. The quiet observer, the mastermind behind the carefully crafted payback, lingered in the shadows, eyes reflecting satisfaction that justice had been served in a way that was both unexpected and humane. The climax didn't come through confrontation or outrage, but through the power of revelation. The VIP girl's story was no longer hers alone. It had become a collective narrative about resilience, identity, and the courage to expose uncomfortable truths. The footage, shared millions of times, sparked conversations that rippled far beyond. The elevator walls. It ignited debates on systemic racism, social media's role in accountability, and the fine line between privacy and activism. For many, the video was a wake-up call, a mirror reflecting society's hidden prejudices and the urgent need to confront them. But beneath the viral headlines and trending hashtags lay the real human story, the private battles, the moments of self-doubt, and the unwavering determination to reclaim dignity in a world quick to judge and slow to listen. As the days passed, the lives of the elevator passengers intertwined in unexpected ways. The businessman reached out, seeking to understand, to learn, and to make amends, not with empty words, but through action. He became an unlikely advocate, using his platform to support anti-racism initiatives and share the lessons he had learned. In those few minutes trapped in close quarters with truth, the young woman, inspired by the VIP girl's bravery, began her own journey of self-discovery and activism, determined to challenge the biases she had inherited without question. The quiet observer, revealed to be a journalist with a passion for social justice, published a compelling series of stories giving voice to those who often went unheard. Together, these individuals, brought together by an elevator ride, became symbols of change, proof that even small moments could spark movements. But just when it seemed the story was settling into its resolution, a final twist emerged, one that none of the passengers nor the millions watching saw coming. The VIP girl, whose strength had captivated the world, revealed that her actions were not just about payback or exposing racism. They were part of a larger, ongoing project she had been working on for years. Behind her poised exterior was a brilliant strategist, an activist who had been documenting inequality and injustice through hidden cameras and first-hand experiences, gathering evidence to challenge discriminatory systems at their core. The elevator incident was a turning point, but it was also a glimpse into a much bigger fight, a fight she invited everyone to join. Her story, now a movement, reminded viewers that resilience wasn't just about surviving, but about transforming. Pain into power, and judgment into understanding. As the screen fades to black, the final message is clear. None of us are immune to the biases that shape our perceptions, but every one of us holds the power to change the narrative. The elevator ride, the viral video, the payback, these are symbols of a larger truth about the human spirit and the relentless pursuit of justice. The story closes not with an end, but with an invitation to look deeper, listen harder, and stand stronger together. Because real strength isn't about how much you endure alone, but how bravely you rise and how fiercely you protect those who cannot yet fight for themselves. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories of inner strength and resilience. Until next time, stay strong, stay brave, and never forget your worth.